So wide receiver 3 position for the Minnesota Vikings has been a topic of conversation for probably the last 7 to 8 years, ever dating back to Stephon Diggs and Adam Thielen when we saw that duo emerge. Now, this upcoming season, I think the wide receiver 3 is a huge question and almost like a concern for the Vikings because the modern day NFL, it's all about how many points you can score. Obviously, defense matters. You guys know how I feel about defense and defensive line and all that. But you got to be able to be dynamic. And to be dynamic, you need to have 3 weapons on the outsides that can win routes consistently. Consistently win routes, because at the end of the day, we've seen how the Vikings are when they go up against like a Bill Belichick and they double Thielen and Jefferson, or Thielen and Diggs, whoever it was. You just bring a corner, drop the safeties down, and it's a suffocating defense. Anyways, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about who will be the Minnesota Vikings wide receiver 3. Channel news. Listen, I'm going to be trying to get more active on Twitter and Instagram. So go follow the Twitter and Instagram. I'll be following everybody back who follows this. You just got to leave a comment. Every follower I'll get, I'll follow you guys right back. Instagram and Twitter. You guys can see it right here at Skol. Go follow me. That's where I'm going to be more active. I'm going to try to interact with you guys more. We can build more of a relationship on those social medias and kind of expand the brand a little bit. If you guys want to like the video, comment down below. Best way to help me out. Done talking about all that. Let's talk about who I think and who's going to be the Minnesota Vikings wide receiver 3 this upcoming season. Let's get into it. So like I was saying, the wide receiver 3 position for the Vikings has been something that they have not really been able to kind of control since, I guess, Jarius Wright in 2017. I thought he was a very good wide receiver 3 when they made that run. However, this year, it's complicated. Listen, I think you have a lot of options for the Vikings, and I know a lot of people are saying they should go out of house and outside of the team and bring somebody else in to be the wide receiver 3. However, that's not what I think they should do at all. I think the wide receiver 3 should be for at least for the first couple weeks, it should be a carousel of guys. Listen, I think KJ Osborne, I've been seeing a lot of his footage from OTAs, and I think people are just completely writing him off because he's a terrible kick returner. Listen, this guy's a wide receiver from Miami. We drafted him in the 5th round. He's got crazy talent. He just needs to get a couple more years in the system. So will he be the wide receiver 3 next year? I really doubt it, but he's somebody I would keep my eyes on as a guy who could really step up this next season, and we could see him catch a couple big-time touchdowns, a couple catches. I think he is somebody who we will see in the wide receiver 3 position a couple times this year, but he's kind of somebody just keep your eyes out on. The main guy I want to talk about, though, is Chad Beebe. Chad Beebe's very interesting to me, and I absolutely love Chad Beebe. You know, he had the whole moment last year where he muffed the punt, and then he caught the game-winning touchdown. He kind of got the hearts of Minnesota on his back. And we all love Chad Beebe. He's a guy to root for, undrafted, gritty guy, small guy, overseen his whole life, always been doubted. Listen, Chad Beebe, he just reminds me of Julian Edelman, Danny Amendola. And I get the small white wide receiver comparison. It's pretty easy to make. But he could be that guy on 3rd downs for Kirk Cousins. I remember last year, a ton of the time, Kirk Cousins would be 3rd and 7. And he would check down a little drag route coming across the field, or a little crossing route across the field to Chad Beebe, and he would pick it up. Because all the attention's on Thielen, Jefferson. They're getting doubled, especially on 3rd downs. You know the attention's on them. So if you have a guy like Chad Beebe who is quick, his foot speed is fast, in and out of routes, he can win a ton of routes, especially if he's getting a linebacker or the 3rd corner on the other team. That's night and day. I'll roll those die with Chad Beebe every single down. Now, obviously, I think Kirk would love this. I think Kirk, you all know, check down Kirk. Obviously, that's not that true. But, check down Kirk. He likes getting the ball out and letting his receivers do the work. And if you could have a guy like Chad Beebe almost be like the safety net for Kirk Cousins. And I know in years past, Kirk has loved the tight end as a safety net. But I think this could just be another safety net on 3rd down where Kirk could, he would have faith in Beebe, which I already think he does. I think he has faith in Chad Beebe. So he's somebody I would really look out for as my wide receiver 3. However, I do think there's a sleeper for the wide receiver 3 for the Minnesota Vikings. Obviously, there's a couple rookies I'm looking at this year. I haven't really seen enough yet in OTAs, but our 3rd-year tight end out of Alabama, Irv Smith Jr. Listen, I think there's two reasons why I think Irv Smith could really assert himself into the wide receiver 3 position. Is mainly, I think he's good enough. I think he's slender enough. He's got, I mean, over OTAs, I've been noticing his routes. He looks crisp. I said this in the video yesterday. I can just see more of a confidence and a swagger with Irv Smith Jr., and he's having fun. And I think he is ready to take a next step in the Vikings offense. And I think if they started busting him out wide, sort of as like, you know how you see Gronk does, Kittle does in certain situations, I think he can win a lot of those routes, and he can be huge for the Vikings. He's got immense talent. Some of the catches he was making last year, I would sit back and I'll be like, why the hell aren't we getting this guy the ball more? And I would be shocked. Against Seattle, he had those couple diving catches in the rain. We can see that the talent is there, especially with Irv Smith. Also, I think it would be a great job because I really like Tyler Conklin. I think Tyler Conklin is very underrated. We all know he's a great run blocking tight end. So especially if you could bring him in on third downs, if you need an extra blocker and still bust Irv out wide, the 2 tight ends for the Vikings. Yes, we lost Rudolph, but I think our tight end group got better. I think it got more dynamic. So if we could bust Irv out as be like a hybrid wide receiver tight end and have Conklin be like the blocking tight end, and he can still go catch routes. We saw that, or go catch balls. We saw that last year. And then also, I think it should be Irv or Chad Beebe, but I know a lot of people will say Olabisi. Olabisi is very similar to Thielen, in my opinion. They run very similar routes. They're very similar in their build and kind of the way they play football. So with my wide receiver 3, I would want something a little different. However, if Olabisi, if let's just say Thielen and Diggs, or Thielen and, wow, I said Thielen and Diggs. Thielen and that guy right there, Jefferson. I'm gonna leave that in there. I was gonna cut it out. We'll leave that in there. But Thielen and Jefferson, if one of those two, for some reason, would disappear for a game, I'm not gonna say it, but I think Olabisi would be my number 1 guy I would put in there, but just not for the wide receiver 3. So let me know what you guys think down below. I think honestly, I would go Irv Smith or Chad Beebe as a wide receiver 3. Keep an eye on KJ Osborne. Let me know what you guys think about those guys down below for a shout out in next video. I'm going to be putting you guys on the screen. Leave your best response for who do you guys think the wide receiver 3 should be for the Minnesota Vikings, outside house, whatever it may be. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel. See you guys next time. Skol Vikes.